Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you guys are doing great. Today is an incredibly exciting day because our van is fully packed and it's time to take her on the road for her first trial run.
If you watched our last video, you'll know by this point that our van build was pretty much complete. Between filming the last video and today, we were able to put in a mosquito net in one of the side windows. We were hoping to put it in both. When you don't properly calculate the amount of Velcro you need, well, you end up with only one window done. We're super excited to test out our camper and see how it goes because our drop dead date for leaving on our great Canadian road trip is fast approaching, and we really just want to find out if there's going to be any issues with our camper.
For the next 2 nights, we're headed up to Tobermory, which is about 3.5 hours from where we're staying currently. It should be pretty beautiful.
We're about an hour later leaving than we hoped, so I think it's about time we get on the road and put some kilometers on our new camper van. So the plan for the weekend is to get up to Tobermory and set up camp for the day, try out our new cooking stove, and get a good night's sleep in our van before going to do some exploring. This was a very last-minute trip, which meant that all the campsites at the National Park in Tobermory have been booked for a long time because due to COVID, they're only operating at 50% capacity. Unfortunately, we overpaid for a private campsite. Regardless, to us it's worth its weight in gold because we really want to find out if anything in our van is going to fail before we take it out into the bush. We've been on the road for a grand total of about 15 minutes now, and we've already made our first stop. And where else would you stop for bush supplies but Canadian Tire? We need to grab some AA batteries for our fan, and we also need to grab some mosquito repellent because as we learned in Algonquin Provincial Park, really bad bugs can make for a really bad night. Oh, and you can't forget the mask. They're mandatory now.
Got the goods. Let's go.
Ooh, picnic tables for sale. Do you think we could fit it in the back here?
Might have to take it out every night.
Yeah, that's a little much.
It's really comforting to know that the majority of land in Canada is agriculture. Some of it is uninhabited and some of it is city. The majority is big, vast fields like what we're driving through today. Now, we've passed a lot of cornfields because that's really common in Ontario, but Canada, we grow a lot of wheat crop, soy crop, honestly, many other things that I probably have no idea about until we drive through Saskatchewan, and I'm sure we will be seeing miles upon miles upon miles of it. We're currently passing through Wireton, which is one of the other major townships. It looks a lot like a southwestern Ontario small town. Charming, beautiful, and lots of old homes. But it's clear in Canada there's 2 seasons, winter and construction. Oh no, you won't be able to see it.
Well, it's about 5:30 now, and other than starting a fire, there's really only one thing I can think about.
Dinner. I'm so hungry.
Surprisingly enough, this campsite that we've booked here at Harmony Acres is pretty nice. The facilities have been great so far. We are a little surprised it's not particularly private, although maybe Algonquin backcountry camping did set a bad standard for that. So I feel like I can almost reach out and touch our neighbors. That doesn't necessarily mean this will be a bad camping experience though.
This is a radio-free camping ground, which means that there won't be anybody playing music, so at least we'll only get to listen to the sounds of nature together and the highway behind us.
And besides, the reason we came here is to test our camper van, not to have the most comfortable camping experience we could possibly have. So I think we'll still be able to achieve what we came here for.
Oops. Still haven't unpackaged it yet. First time starting. Yay! So we're gonna eat tonight.
On our way into the campsite, we bought a bag of hardwood from the office, which cost us 10 bucks. This bag is quite a bit bigger than the other ones we saw on the side of the road. It is really dry hardwood, which in theory should burn all night long. So it's time to make one.
Curry, and it smells a lot like massaman curry from Thailand.
It smells delicious.
A Coleman stove makes pretty good rice.
Not bad?
Not bad. I'd say maybe I have beginner's luck.
For the first time using a camp stove?
Not a bad meal to have, eh?
I'm happy.
Are you happy it's not hot dogs?
I'm really happy it's not crab dinner with the little wiener pieces in it.
I guess I'm spoiling you for one day. I wish it was spicier though. Tow truck? That's interesting.
We have a tow truck in the campground here. I'm not really sure who they're trying to tow, as long as it's...
Not us. This is kind of like watching like Trailer Park Boys, where it's like you're watching your neighbor's drama and you're not really sure what's going on. All I know is my dinner's good and we're not the ones getting towed. Make us more?
Make us more. We already had a s'mores.
And I already had another marshmallow. I'm gonna be in sugar coma, that's for sure.
So why don't we just split a s'more? 1 marshmallow, 2 pieces of chocolate.
We're already ready to go.
2 graham crackers, and it will be delicious.
Can I just say perfect marshmallow?
This is my s'more. You still have a stick with more marshmallow.
With more marshmallow.
To some fun camping.
And well toasted marshmallows.
That's so good. It's sugar overload. Okay, now I think it's time to put my favorite part of this day to the test. Our brand new bed.
Now that we're officially in a sugar coma, it was time to make our bed and go to sleep. So we've just thrown a fitted sheet over the 2 pieces of foam, blanket over, brought our home pillows. I think we are going to have a very, very good sleep. We've also put in a fan as well just to help with the airflow, and it adds a little nice white noise ambiance. I think that's it from us tonight. Good night.
Well guys, the 4-inch thick foam is incredibly comfortable. However, it did get very cold in here. I think outside last night it got to about 14, 15 degrees. It just took a couple hours for the cold to transfer into the van. By about 2, 3 in the morning, we were pretty cold. And the sad part about all of this is we do have sleeping bags rated for -4, but they're buried deep in the belly of the vehicle. I don't think either of us got cold enough to go digging them out in the middle of the night.
15 degrees isn't actually that cold, but I just don't think we were fully prepared. We've got a quilt with us, which is nice. It's not quite enough. We will have a comforter eventually to bring in here. It's just not with us right now.
The plan for the day is actually to head down to Black Creek Provincial Park, which is just essentially a beach with a little alcove. And because the weather forecast has suggested it's supposed to rain all day, we didn't want to plan to do anything too strenuous because we're not fully prepared for the elements right now. And a big part of the reason why we're here in the first place is to learn about our van.
But I will say last night it was so dark in here, and I think that even if we had city lights, we wouldn't be able to see them because we did a really good job of making it feel really private and cavernous.
If the weather holds up, we're gonna go out and do some exploring, but first. This is certainly one of the most memorable ways that I've ever made coffee, out the back of our minivan with the tailgate up and our stove almost on the ground.
It's gonna be delicious though. It smells so good.
We brought some really good coffee to do in a pour over, which is making life a little bit more difficult because it is raining. It will all be worth it in the end. I think it's safe to say that this van was designed to live outside of it and sleep inside of it rather than to like do everything inside of it.
We could technically go into town and get coffee, but that's not the experience we signed up for.
We signed up for some bushwhacking living. This is gonna be the Rich and Kirsten do-it-yourself channel.
I
I tried to be smart and I boiled an extra big pot of water so that I could just add some oatmeal, and it looks like it's working out. We're having brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal for breakfast. Steel cut oats, extra hearty for what some would say a miserable day, but I'd just say a rainy day. I might eat it all before we actually get to it. Oops. I put my flame out. Oh shit, I did it again.
This is not exactly how I expected to be drinking my first cup of coffee in the minivan.
I think I did anticipate that our first cup of coffee in the minivan would be because of rainy weather.
I think we did a pretty good job crafting it out, but we're gonna have to come up with a better solution for that. It's pretty weak.
It's really weak.
Okay, the oatmeal's really good. We got one of the two correct.
I gotta work on my coffee game.
It looks like the traffic this morning is particularly bad. In England, they have sheep that cross the road. In India, they have cows that cross the road. And here in Canada, we have Canadian geese that rule the roost. And yes, we actually do call them Canada geese.
We just pulled into Black Creek Provincial Park. This is what I'm talking about. There is not another tourist in sight. The view is amazing. This is Stokes Bay, and it's up here on Lake Huron? Should I just list all the lakes and
do you remember
cut
them all?
Ontario, Huron, Erie. It's not Erie. It's not Ontario. It's either Huron, Superior. It's not Superior. It's Huron. What's the last? Michigan. This is Lake Huron. Like on the other side of the coast, the grotto probably has like 1,000 tourists maybe, and there's not another car in the parking lot with us. The rain has calmed down a lot since we arrived, which is good news. We're really hoping to go out. For now, we're gonna have to wait this out a little bit. In the next video, we enjoy some of the best scenery the Bruce Peninsula has to offer. We have an incredible view. I really wish we could fly the drone up here, but we're in a national park, so it's not gonna happen. Wow, incredibly beautiful, isn't it?
I could not be more impressed by this.
And took on a much more intense hike than we were prepared for along the Georgian Bay Bluffs. So we underestimated the hike to the grotto, but we did not underestimate the beauty of the grotto.